So I'm calling this training or this nugget dropping session CPR 2, right? The CPR, we're going to go break down what the CPRs of business stand for. One of my kids said, it's the breath of business. I said, okay, I'm going to put that in there, just like breathing breath. So whether you are just getting started in business or whether or not you have been in business for quite some time, this is that breath of mental fresh air that you need to continue being in business. So we're going to start breaking down this CPR and what it stands for. The C stands for being consistent. One of the most important things in marketing for that matter is being consistent. You got to be consistent. What does that mean? That means doing something the same way over and over again over a duration of time. You guys know this, but you need to hear it again, right? You got to be consistent. It's unchanging in nature. It's the standard. It's steady and it's stable. It's someone who has the same attitudes towards people, places, and things, and they're not flip-flopping all over the place, right? It also does not mean always, right? People are talking about, I hear them talk about, well, it seems like you want us to always be doing X, Y, and Z. No, we want you to be consistently doing it. We're not robots, right? We're human beings. It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to turn a light switch on and the light just going to stay on. So you might have to take a break. You might have to slow down, but it means if it's 7 days in a week with your marketing, you should be consistently marketing at least 5 of those days, right? 80%. If I'm playing basketball and I'm an 80% free throw shooter, I'm pretty good. I would say that I'm one of those elite free throw shooters. So you want to be consistent with your marketing. There's a difference between being consistent and being constant, right? Constant implies that it never stops. So if you was a robot or the light switch and I cut you on, I would expect that you never ever stop. So having the mindset in the beginning to be consistent with whatever it is you're deciding you're going to do. If you guys say, I'm going to market on social media, great. Be consistent with it, right? If you're going to market going we call grassroots marketing or guerrilla style marketing, that's your postcards, your flyers, your print material, things like that. You have to be consistent with it. If not, you're never going to reap the benefits that you're looking for. You're not going to be successful as you want to be because you're not being consistent. And I already said you should be consistent with your marketing, but just like that, you should also be very consistent with your personal development. Your personal development and your business development, I'm recommending that you are being consistent. 7 days in a week, 5 of those days, you should be doing some personal development and marketing. It's going to help you tremendously grow your business. The P stands for persistent. Now, some of us are good at being consistent, but we're not very persistent. What does that mean? Continuing to do something in spite of the difficulty or opposition. Things are going to happen. Challenges are going to, as a matter of fact, watch this. This mini training that I'm putting together right now, I have lost it twice trying to get it together just to share with you guys. The computer froze. I hit the save button. It disappeared on me. I had to redo it again. Then once I redid it again, hit the save button again, the power unplugged. I was like, oh my God. I had to keep doing it. Now watch this. I'm consistent with putting together trainings. But this particular one, I had to be persistent to make sure I put it together. Now, it ain't all fancy and cute like, the previous training y'all just got with the little cute pictures and stuff like that. That's not the point. I had to be persistent, right? Continuing to endure over a long period of time, right? Some of us can be consistent with some marketing for a second, right? Or consistent with talking to people about our business for a second, but then 6 months later, when that person you talked to 6 months ago is finally ready to get into the business, where you at, right? You weren't persistently doing your business. I just had a person call me 2 days ago. He was a guy that I talked to last year for a 3-way for a person that's no longer in the business. Now, for whatever reason, she's not in the business. He was like, man, I called her. I've been calling her. I cannot find her. right? She wasn't continuing to be around over the duration of time, right? People are going to tell you no. So what? You have to be persistent, right? You have to you got to be like the daggone dripping water faucet that gets on your nerves. It's just gonna keep dripping and dripping, and it's persistent, right? That same water flow, that persistent water flow, is what carves the daggone caves and the valleys and things like that. The rocks in the mountain, they didn't want to move. They wanted to be right where they was, but that water flow was persistent and it shaped what we have. So you're going to be told no. So what? Be persistent. Having the ability to stick with something and never giving up. All of what I'm talking about right now is the foundation that you have to have mentally in order to grow and build your business. If you can't get past this, all of the tools and the X's and O's and the game planning that we give you on a regular basis, it is not going to mean nothing. You're never going to get to that point because you're going to end up quitting. You're not going to be persistent, right? Not starting and stopping. This is the fastest way to lose momentum. We are in a momentum business, right? Something happens, life is going to happen, and you guys, some of us, stop. Like literally stop. And then we're starting over. We're hitting a reboot. You're going to lose momentum. People are going to call you inconsistent, right? And because you're not being persistently continuing to fight, the people that would have been behind you, helping you push your business, they gave up because you gave up. I gave someone the analogy the other day, when if you was by yourself pushing your truck down the street and it was just you, and you're trying to get momentum to get that thing moving, you need a couple of people to come help you. And then if they start helping, now we can get that thing moving. But if as soon as they come over and you stop, it all of a sudden looks like, well, if they're not pushing no more, well, what I'm pushing for, it must not be that serious to get your truck from point A to point B. So when you took your hands off, I'm going to look over at you like, hold up, I'm going to take my hands off, possibly, right? So starting and stopping is the fastest way to lose momentum. And if you're trying to build this business, whether from the marketing, networking side, or even the travel side, starting and stopping is the fastest way to lose momentum. It'll be this time next year, and you'll still have 1 or 2, 3 or 4 business partners. You'll still have just those 1 or 2 customers and clients, and you waiting on them to book a trip for their next year's birthday party. You ain't got nobody else because you're not being persistent. This next one, resistant. This is the ability, again, mindset. This is the ability not to be affected by something. Someone's going to piss you off in this business, but how is it affecting you? I gotta resist that. Not allowing things that you can't control to penetrate you. It's a mental thing. You can't control it. You can't control it. But if it's bothering you, now it's slowing you down. Now it's changing how you're perceiving things. Now you can't do business because you allowing the no's to stop you, right? You allowing the last 5 people who told you, you know what, I found it cheaper on cheap hotels or something, bookit.com, or, you know what, I think this is a pyramid scheme. You allowing that stuff to bother you. Oh, this is my next one. Not allowing negative people, haters, and dream stealers to infect you with the poison of doubt. This is what's going to happen if you don't take on this mindset in our business. We're in a people business, right? And people going to tell you no. We need to do more research and working on figuring out, well, why are they telling me no at the end of the day? Why are they choosing to go with another provider? Why are they choosing to book their travel with someone else? When you get better at understanding and learning why the people are doing what they're doing and you're resisting all of the BS, then you will be phenomenal in this business. And, you know, you'll be waterproof. That type of bull crap is going to drip off of your back like the water on a duck's back. You have to be resistant to that type of stuff. The ability to say no to yourself, people, places, and things that are out there trying to entice you away from your goals and money-making activities. This is huge right here because a lot of people in their business find themselves straying away from business because we like pleasing people, mostly ourselves sometimes. Like, y'all see me with all this 49er stuff on, but I've only watched 2 NFL games in the last 2.5 years. I still my team, so I'm aware of stuff anyway, right? But I'm not allowing certain things. I'm telling the NFL no 90% of the time, right? I'm telling family members and friends no right now 90% of the time. My wife can get mad all they want. My kids get mad. Daddy, last year I missed my daughter's skating party or something. There was a roller skating party for her 15th or 4th, whatever year it was. I missed it. I couldn't be there. I was doing a travel presentation clear across town. And they was like, why aren't you here? You should be here. I promise you. That's what I said. Listen, baby girl, you're not going to remember that daddy missed that daggone skating party when your 16th birthday come around and you want all the bells and whistles. So I'm out here grinding right now so you can have what you want when it's really important, right? So you're going to have to tell people, places, and things no. Sometimes you're going to have to tell sleep no. Now, because we know life is going to happen anyway, you have to be resilient. Because life is going to happen. I'm not perfect. I'm not, and nobody else is. Life is going to punch you in the mouth at some point in time. You have to have the ability to recover quickly from these difficult situations of life. And it's going to happen as long as you are living. Life is going to knock you down. People are going through things. I'm going through stuff, right? When you get knocked down, the question is, how long is it going to take you to get back up? I'm not necessarily talking about physically because some people are out there older than me or whatever. I'm not saying if you physically get knocked down, but when life smacks you dead in the face, how long is it taking you to get back up? Some of y'all probably wouldn't know this from you guys knowing me, but I've gone through all kinds of stuff just in the last year, from death, depression, health issues. Some of the craziest stuff you could imagine. If you can think about it happening within the household of having a bunch of kids, it has happened to me. I have had every excuse in the world to stop over the last year. I promise you, from you name it, it's happened, right? But it's not keeping me down. It's mental. When a person asks me on a daily basis, how are you doing? I'm super fantastic. I'm speaking that thing into existence. I'm not going to allow that stuff to keep me there. It doesn't say that it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, because it's going to happen. I promise you, it's going to happen. Right? My schedule is crazy. Tomorrow I got to go see a child that can't live with me right now because of some legal issues. Right? I'm spending money on that. I would love to tell y'all. Y'all call me later. If y'all want to talk about that. But I'm also going to share with you why my attitude is the way it is, because I know we have to be resilient. Right? This is one of the top 5 reasons builders don't last, because the second their pinky hurt, now they're not doing something. Now they have taken the exit and they chilling, trying to figure that thing out, when the main reason why you got into the business was for all of these deeper things. You lost sight of that, right? You weren't as resilient as a kid, right? Like I could whoop all 6, 7 of my kids today. By the time it's dinner time, 90% of them good with me. They resilient. At the end of the day, they bounce right back. You tell them no, they coming right back 15 minutes later. Ask you the same freaking, I just told you couldn't have them chips. They right back in my face 15 minutes later. My youngest, little pie, she gonna look at you and give you the puppy dog face after you say no. She gonna walk away crying after you say no. On the 5th no, I might even have to pop her. Look, I'm tired of having to tell you the same daggone thing. Don't you know she gonna come right back at me again? That's freaking. I'm like, this is amazing. So if the kids can have this kind of attitude, I know that I have to have this same kind of mental attitude or fortitude or toughness to bounce back in my business. You know how many people have quit on me in this business? The thought, you can't control that thought from coming, right? My pastor used to say this back in the day. He said, you can't control the bird from flying over your head, but you can control that Alabama from making a nest on top of your head. So I can't control what's going to happen in life, but I can control. Preston said the other day, don't go through the doorway and stand there. I mean, that's silly, right? So trials of life are going to come. The question is how you bouncing back from it. And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, give you a couple of things before I conclude on how you bounce back. What things are necessary for you in order to bounce back. Competence. Knowing that you have the ability to handle any situation, focusing on your strengths. This is something that you have to do. So when you're competent in yourself and in your business, you have that knowledge. It's going to be a little easier for you to bounce back. Confidence, belief in yourself and your abilities. Again, this is work you got to do. This all mental work that you have to do. Believing in yourself and your abilities will make it easier for you to bounce back. So in the beginning, you're not sharpening your skills. You're not doing no personal development. So when life hits you, you don't have no extra belief in yourself and your abilities to bounce back. It's just like if you got hit by the neighborhood bully and you're gonna lay on the ground for 20 minutes because you're not confident enough that at least worst case scenario, I'm gonna break his finger or something. Something, right? Connection. This is powerful right here. Staying connected to the system, your teammates, leaders, your accountability partner. This is what's going to make it easier for you to be resilient and bounce back. The system is not necessarily, I'm not talking about our PS3 system, the system of information flow, right? The system of people who have what you need, right? So if I'm on the ground and I know I need help getting back up, I want to reach my hand out, but if I'm not connected and nobody's around, who helping pull me up? It's going to be a lot harder for me to get up. Now I got to get up all by myself. Now, it can be done, but if you stay connected, it'll be done a whole lot easier. You got 70 helping hands or 140 helping hands to help pull you up when you find yourself hitting that brick wall or when life smacks you. The next one is character. A solid set of morals and values, a standard of doing business, what you stand for. Now, what's amazing, our company and our team individually stand for some stuff. I'm not even going to tell you. Do your own due diligence and research and ask somebody, what does Team Platinum stand for? See, once you figure that out and you own that, right? Find out what our team motto is. Find out what the team scripture is. So that when you hit upside the head with life, those are the things that you have to stand on and can help pull you back and keep you in the game. I promise you, you're not going to be able to build a business long term in our industry if your mind not right, unless you're selfish. Now, if you're a selfish individual, then you can be around for years, but that's irrelevant because network marketing is about duplication, it's about the people. So if you're not selfish and you're in this business for the long haul, you want to have a legacy to leave behind. That legacy means you have helped a lot of people. And you can't help a lot of people until you start with helping yourself. And I'm telling you, I've told people before, being in business is 90% mental and it's 10% everything else. So this foundation that I'm giving you, I was going to give you some X's and O's about marketing and strategizing and stuff like that. But if I don't give you this, that's like having the tools in your tool bag, and because it's too cold outside, you're not going to go outside and change your oil on the car. Then when you do go outside and drive that car without the oil being changed properly, you mess the car up and then it's a done deal. So mentally, you have to be ready. That's why Roger's always preaching mindset. You got to be ready. This is why Preston and Amani and Roger and myself have been in our industry for years, because it's a mental thing. It ain't even about the money comes second. See, Preston and Imani were 3-star directors 3 years ago, right? But it's the mindset first, right? I am a millionaire in my mind already. I'm just waiting for my bank account to catch up with my thinking. That's all. At the end of the day,
yes, your bank account.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the bank account to catch up with the way I think. But it's my job to execute and to continue thinking this way. And I have to still be in business 6, 7, 8 months later consistently when those people are ready for what I have to offer. And speaking about the people, the next C is contribution. This will help you get back on your feet, realizing that this is bigger than you. Your service, your product, your opportunity are major contributors towards changing lives. This means you need to know your why need to be deeper than you and making some money, right? You have to honestly believe that your product, your service, and your compensation plan can change your life. Starting with yours, obviously. Whether it's done that yet or not, you have to believe that. And that's mental, right? But before I know how to do it, like before I know how to book all the trips LaRonda and everybody and Monty was talking about, I have to believe that if I send my customer on Southwest Airlines or Disney or whatever, I got to believe that they're going to be taken care of. Well, them companies been around before I even knew about IntelliTravel. They're multi-million, billion-dollar companies. So I already believe. And you telling me that we are associated and connected to those companies, Disney, MGM, and all those resorts, that's where I'm sending people. My belief system is off the charts with the company that I'm associated with. You telling me that a guy that used to work at Papa Do's as a waiter is making $100,000 a month and he ain't been in the industry longer than me, Roger, or Preston? My belief system is off the charts. If he can do that, you telling me, right? You telling me that we got people on the team or in our company that have almost died. I mean, if you haven't been to the convention, you got to come to a convention. The stories that people are telling. So I'm sitting here, I got to listen to these stories. You telling me you went through that and you on stage now making this much money? My belief system is off the chart. I know this company can and will change lives. The question is whether or not I'm going to execute on what I say I believe. But if my beliefs isn't in that this company and me as a part of it can contribute and help change lives, then when life smacks me upside the face, I'm gonna be thinking about me and my little issues and what's going on with me, and I gotta have surgery again next year, right? For like the 4th time on my ear. I mean, I could go down a whole list of things that I don't feel like it today. As a matter of fact, today I didn't feel like it. I ain't had much sleep at all, right? But I realized that my contribution for somebody, I don't care if it's one person, it matters. So that picks me right up. I'm resilient with that, right? Pick me right on up off that thought came to my mind for about 2 seconds. When this screen went blank and I ain't had no presentation, and I'm texting Preston like, man, this is some bull crap. I could have said, hey man, you go ahead and fill in. I'm done. I could have said that, but I was already typing a new one. And then he confirmed it by like, hey, you got time to do a new one. Right on, right? See, that's because I'm staying connected, right? This is amazing. Coping. Life is going to happen, I promise you. I got 7+ kids, right? Plus a wife and a dog. You're going to get stressed out. The question is, what's your coping strategy? How do you positively relieve stress? See, if you don't know this stuff right now in business and it's just you, what you going to do when you got 1,400 team members or just 9 of them that's getting on your nerves? Or just your 3, because you really need 3 to start with. How you going to deal with that plus your job, plus the traffic, plus everything else? Time you get home, if your coping mechanism is 4 hours of TV and a drink and a J, your business is suffering. You need a positive coping mechanism, whatever it might need to be. And it's not my job to give it to you, but you need a proper way to deal with and handle stress. I'm buying, I promise you, the next month or 2, I'm buying a punching bag, right? I gave up some of my other coping mechanisms, none of your business what they was, right? I gave them up. So now I'm buying a punching bag. I'm putting a punching bag in the basement, and when I get stressed out, I'm going to war for a hot second, relieve that stress. Doctors tell me that some endorphins or some stuff like that happen when you do some things to relieve stress. Whatever you need to do, you need to figure that out so you can stay in business. Control. You control your choices, so 75% or more of the outcomes are more likely to be in your favor. Doesn't mean it's always going to go your way, but you got to figure out what my choices are going to be. You control that. You can only control what you can control. Deal with it. The last thing, I know I'm moving kind of fast too, right? The last thing is courage. This is the most important one. If you don't have the courage to do these things that I'm talking about, courage is doing these things in spite of the fear, in spite of the unknown, right? People get on stage and do what they do anyway. That's one of the most feared, public speaking is one of the most feared things or jobs known to man. But they do it anyway. That doesn't mean that they're not afraid or they're not nervous. They're courageous. They do it anyway. That firefighter that runs into that burning building, that dude is courageous. He ain't necessarily crazy. He's courageous, right? You think he not afraid of getting burnt up by the fire? Yes, he is. He going in there anyway. And watch this, because he also knows mentally it's bigger than him. You got to have courage about this business and to be able to continue doing these things for you, your family, or whatever your why is. You got to have that courage. It's the courage that has me doing what I'm doing. I tell people all the time, I'm an introvert. I don't believe you. I'm an introvert. I don't want to be on stage. I don't want to be doing all this talking. I like to be behind the scenes with my computer, and then I like to sit back, observe, and watch. That's who I am. It's the courage that you see when I get in front of the room and do what I do. That's courage. I don't want to do it, right? And I'm learning to do some things differently. I got my own little coping mechanisms, right? I listen to, because I know it's mental, right? So there's certain people I listen to over and over and over again to help develop that courage. It ain't because I don't want to do it, right? I'm just going to do it in spite of, because the goal is bigger. So you can that helps you also eliminate excuses, because it's easy to sit back. It's easy to go ahead and get a part-time job. It's easier to not pick up that phone and call the 500, 5,000 people you know you got in this phone, and some of y'all ain't called those people because you're afraid, but you want your business to grow up, right? And guess what? I was listening to something before talking to y'all. Dude said, call the people in your phone or send them a text. You ain't even got to ask them to be a part of your business or for their service. Call everybody in your phone and ask them, who do they know that will be interested in your product or service? Guess what? It might be a shot in the dark. You might end up with 5 or 6 referrals, but you don't know. You don't know. That firefighter don't know if he coming out of that burning building. He doing it in spite of that fear. Pick up the phone, call some folks in spite of the fear, in spite of the no. If you don't have courage, you're not going to do none of the other stuff I'm talking about. Because the fear is going to blind you. And then now here you blind trying to lead somebody else that's brand new. Now it's the blind leading the blind. And then you hear about it in our industry all the time. You got people, man, I partnered with such and such, they ain't told me nothing. Well, they was scared, right? They was stuck right here in front of that wall. They didn't give you anything. Then you wasn't connected. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff that all starts mentally. That's why people fall off in this business. They drop like flies. I promise you, network marketing is the one business opportunity I can think of that you could do while doing everything else. It doesn't matter. You ain't got an excuse big enough. You can do this while doing everything else, even if it was on a part-time basis. Because it's just like working out. If I was 500 pounds and the doctor said, hey, you finna die tomorrow unless you start working out today. Well, I'm 500 pounds. I got 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, 3 part-time jobs. When am I going to find time? Well, listen, it doesn't matter. Take 5 minutes a day. The compound effect says that's better than you sitting there doing nothing. So with your business, I'm encouraging you, better get started doing this stuff now. It's all mindset. Commit to these things that I just ran through really quickly, right? And I hope I didn't go too fast, but at the end of the day, I know it's being recorded. But you have to get and develop that mindset to run through these brick walls in your business, right? Figure it out. Different approaches. My daughter would come back in the room with a different She did it. Came back in the room with a different outfit on like she a different kid. To ask the same question I already said no to. Genius, right? I gave it to her that time because I was like, that was freaking creative. Here's the cookie, right? I promise you, find different approaches. I said that earlier. People are telling you no, not necessarily because they're not interested, but you coming at me maybe the wrong way, maybe the wrong time. It's our job to figure these things out, and that's not the X's and O's. I read a book, keyword, I read a book that said in business, now I'm paraphrasing the percentage, but almost, I think it was 87.5% of whatever business you're in should be, or your knowledge should be on people. The remaining percentage should be on whatever the business is. But that takes a different mindset that you got to have to now want to study people. Because if you spent that 87.5% studying people, you would have no problem selling them whatever. The sales become easier because you know when, where, and why people want to travel, where they want to travel, why they like to do what they like to do, why they don't want to do what they want to do. This is all a mental game. So you guys got to sharpen your mental tools, especially during this time of year when you're going to be in the house for the most part. Sharpen your mental tools.